A Premier League champion and a Leicester City legend, a Leicester City icon who has had a troubling career after leaving Leicester City for a lot of money, moving on to bigger and better things that was promised, have then collapsed and turned, as he says, his career into a shambles. That is right, Danny Drinkwater, guys. He has come out today with Talksports in an interview talking about his career at Chelsea and what has happened and how he's felt his career has gone down. I'm just having to talk about what I think of his career and what has happened to Danny Drinkwater and where he has ended up. And he's on the right steps to coming back into the world of football and taking the right steps to being back as a Premier League footballer. But guys, if you enjoy the channel, if you like football news, the best football news, the most current football news, and the football news that people don't always get to talk about, please hit the subscribe button, like the video, and drop a comment on what you guys think of Danny Drinkwater and how his career's gone so far after you enjoy the video. But guys, we're going to jump straight into things right about now. Danny Drinkwater has come out of an interview with Talksports talking about his career with Chelsea and what he went through at Leicester City. He's talked about his mistakes on moving to Chelsea and how he felt his career was at Chelsea. And he is now on the right steps to move on from that. I'm going to read you guys all of his comments from his interview with Talksports. They have it all out on their page. I think it is very interesting what he said, and I really, personally for myself, I love Danny Drinkwater. I thought he was an amazing midfielder at his time as Leicester City, winning the Premier League, winning the championship, and saving them from relegation, and then winning the league. For me, I thought he deserved better. I didn't think he should have made that move to Chelsea. I didn't think he was ready for it. But of course, if a move like Chelsea comes knocking on your door, if the big money like Chelsea does come, it's going to talk to you. And obviously, he might have loved Chelsea as a kid. I'm really not sure. But a move like Chelsea is always going to come knocking to you. He's going to follow his teammate N'Golo Kante. And for me, it just wasn't the right move for him. But I love Danny Drinkwater. There's always the jokes about Danny drinks champagne, drink water, all those funny jokes. But for me, I think people have forgotten about him, and they shouldn't have, because what he did at Leicester City was really special, and it should never go under the radar. He is one of those massive pieces, one of those key pieces that went for them winning the league. He was up there with N'Golo Kante. He was up there with Jamie Vardy and Riyad Mahrez and Wes Morgan and Robert Huth and Kasper Schmeichel. They're Leicester City legends and Leicester City icons. People should never forget the name Danny Drinkwater, even if it's a joke. People talk about him as a meme. He is a phenomenal Premier League midfielder and a Premier League champion. A lot of people have not won the Premier League. Look at even Harry Kane. He has not even won the Premier League. But for me, Danny Drinkwater was a vital piece of that Leicester City side when they did win the Premier League, guys. So nobody should put disrespect on Danny Drinkwater's name. I think he's a fantastic midfielder, and he still has some brilliant years ahead of him, and I hope he can come back into the Premier League. But guys, I want to talk about what he has said in his Talksports interview. This is right from Danny Drinkwater's mouth and right from what he said with Talksports. We're going to dive right into things. He first off says, "Can I paint a picture? No, it's been a shambles." That's what he told Talksports after his 2-1 win at Craven Cottage after Reading's game. He said, "It's football. It's never straightforward. It's never simple. I'm just excited for the new challenges. I need to kickstart my career. I'm more excited about this than I have ever been for a few years now, especially how my career has panned out. Games getting the enjoyment of football's back, then going from there. A few have slid away. I've made mistakes. I've not played. I'm in the last year of my contract, so there's more than just football riding on it. I've got other things." That is key, what he says there. He also then goes on to add, "I'm desperate for games. I know my position. I know it's not what I've expected for 10 years. So I've got to make changes, and I'm making the right steps. I've just got to keep in contact with the manager, trust each other, and trust the team. Hopefully they trust me, and we can build on that." I love what he says. I really do. I think Danny Drinkwater deserves more respect than he's gotten at his time at Chelsea. He's had ups and downs and many loan spells. He hasn't been played. At Chelsea, he wasn't played enough for me. People criticize him because he had a couple poor games. Obviously, his first one was a shocker, but look at Saúl Ñíguez. He came into his first game, had a shocker. He was slated a bit, but he wasn't slated as much as Danny Drinkwater was, and Danny Drinkwater is a proven Premier League midfielder who's won the Premier League. Danny Drinkwater, for me, guys, I love what he says. I really do. I enjoy what he says here. So I've got to make changes, and I'm making the right steps. I love this. I think this Reading team he has joined is a phenomenal side, and like I saw this weekend, beating Fulham 2-1 is a massive statement win for me. I think Fulham are getting straight promoted and winning the championship. But I think Reading made some amazing signings, bringing in Scott Dan to strip the back, and bringing in Danny Drinkwater, a player who needs to prove himself and wants to prove himself and knows he wants to be back in the Premier League. And I really hope Danny Drinkwater can be that guy who brings Reading back into the Premier League. Him, Swift, Jara, you have Scott Dan. You have some great players at Reading, and I think this is a great experienced team and a great youthful team that'll come right into the Premier League, and I hope Danny Drinkwater can bring them back up and prove all these haters and doubters that he is a great player and a great midfielder, and people shouldn't put hate on his name. I've really hated what people have done to Danny Drinkwater this time at Chelsea, because at Leicester, people didn't even give him the right respect there, I don't think. I think he was so vital beside N'Golo Kanté in that midfield that he doesn't get the respect he deserved. Obviously, playing 35 games and starting 35 of those games in that season where they won the Premier League is just unbelievable. The stamina he had to play 3,033 minutes is unbelievable. Then he goes to Chelsea, guys. This is absolutely abysmal for me. From Chelsea, sorry guys. He then goes on to make a £35 million move to Chelsea, starting 5 games and playing 12. Disgusting. I can't remember who the manager was at the time. I think it was Jose Mourinho. I can't remember. Might have been Antonio Conte. But it's terrible. And then the next season they go on to loan him. Doesn't play any games for Chelsea. Then he plays 4 games and starts 4 for Villa. In a shocking Villa season when they got relegated. Or, no, they just staved off relegation. They didn't get relegated. And then he goes to Burnley in a loan season where he only plays 1 and starts 1. And then he goes to Turkey. Features in 11, starts in 6. Again goes back to Chelsea last year and plays in the 2nd division. And now he's with Championship side Reading, getting 71 minutes in his first game back. For me, I think Reading's going to back him. The manager's going to back him. The player's already on his side. They're going to look up to him. He's a Premier League winner. He's a Premier League proven midfielder. Please, guys. Loving Danny Drinkwater. I adore him. I think he's an amazing player, and I think he's disrespected so much throughout the media. And I know his time at Chelsea was a shambles, but I really do hope the best for Danny Drinkwater, and I can't wait to see him get promoted with Reading and be a Premier League midfielder again, which he deserves to be, coming to the age of 31 right now. Going to be 32 when he makes the Premier League, but I really hope he makes it. Danny Drinkwater, I know your career has been a shambles at Chelsea, but it's going to be amazing at Reading, and I hope you're going to be a great Premier League midfielder again, because you're the best, and I can't wait to see you back in the Premier League. But guys, if you enjoyed the video on Danny Drinkwater and what he said about his career being a shambles, let me know down below in the comments. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I'll see you guys for the next one. Peace.